I'm here now. I'll be calling the shots.
You said it as well. The best TV show we got this year. Visually stunning. Writing is stunning. Music is great. Soundtrack is great. Dialogue is amazing. It looked like he wanted to do good for the local community. He wanted to be like Sonny, like from
Mm.
Bronx Tale. Exactly that. When he said that story, I was like, he wants to be respected. He wants to be remembered.
But when he did that, you're like, oh yes, I remember. You are a criminal bastard. You are a bad guy. You're the bad guy. They done a great job in making me want more Penguin.
Can you imagine to be remembered like that?
What's happening, people? Welcome back to the Brothers Geek Out TV review, and today we're reviewing The Penguin, one of the best shows that I've seen this year by far. This show, just to give a quick introduction to it, if you haven't seen it, it's a gritty spin-off of the Batman 2022 that came out, and this follows the story of Oswald Cobblepot, also known or best known as the Penguin, and his rise in Gotham City's criminal underworld. So this takes place straight after the Matt Reeves Batman movie that came out, and it's a part of the Elseworld DC Universe stories. So to set the expectations of what this show's about, I mean, I first compared it when I first started watching it as The Sopranos in Gotham City. Now I know Matt Reeves. I think he made a comment saying that he appreciates the comment and the praise. Like The Sopranos is one of the best shows and one of the one of the shows that's kind of led to all these great shows and everything that's been coming out. But he said he appreciates it, but he doesn't see it in that same comparison. But I would say, look, with all respect, it's in that vibe. I mean, it really does, and we're gonna go into the story, show the uprising of and the uprising of the Penguin, and just that fully give us a view of that underworld of Gotham City, that underworld, the
Yeah.
criminal underworld of Gotham City. So, just to kind of give respects to the creators and directors and cast and everything. So the creators was Lauren Lefran. So also done some stuff that like Impulse, Agents of Shield, Chuck, so other TV programs and stuff. So familiar with that world. The director, so there was many directors, right? For different
Mhm.
episodes. That's how they do it. So I don't know the exact episode that they directed, but just give shout out to Craig Zobel, who directed 3 episodes. Kevin Bray directed 2, Helen Shaver directed 2, and then Jennifer Zinger directed 1 episode. The cast, which we'll get into more, but shout out, it was an amazing cast. Obviously, Colin Farrell as Oscorp Cobb, Penguin, Christine Milotti, Sophia Falcone, Feliz, who played Victor.
Mhm.
You had De'Are O'Connor, who played Francis Cobb. Forgive me if I'm butchering names. Clarence Brown, who played Salvatore Moroni. Michael Kelly
Yeah.
versus who done Johnny, who was Johnny Vitti, and then Theo Rossi, who played Julian Rush, Dr. Julian Rush, and then Mark Strong was in it for a bit, playing Carmine Falcone. So the overview and the show and the premise of this overall show. I mean, the brief summary of the story was, as we said, just the uprising, like showing us the Gotham criminal underworld, but the uprising of the Penguin, because the Penguin, I kind of compare it. I'm look, just kind of comparing Marvel DC. He's like for me the DC's Kingpin. He runs the underworld. He gets involved in politics. He's just fully understand, but this show really shows how he gets there, like what's going on in his head, how he strategically, plants people against each other. How does he rise in the ranks of the underworld by taking out enemies, by outsmarting them, by bribing them, but just having his hand in every pocket everywhere, from politicians to the actual gangsters, right? So it picks up straight after the Batman story, the Batman 2022, which is, we know, ends with the Riddler planting those bombs and the big flood in Gotham, and that's where they're trying to rebuild back. So this was kind of awesome because he takes advantage of that situation. He takes advantage of the rebuild, right? And
Mm.
Gotham Cities and such, especially the slums of Gotham City, is always going to be in the shit after these things. And the rich get richer, the poor get poorer,
Yeah.
right? The rich are all good. The poor are in this situation where they got flooded and everything. And again, he uses his I guess you could say criminal intelligence to use that to build his empire, to build his army, using those people who need something, who ain't got nothing.
Mm.
So it does follow his story becoming the lieutenant of the Carmine Falcone to build up his own empire, right? And then we talk about how he kind of turns all of them against each other. The tone and the atmosphere, I mean, it's straight from the Batman 2022, right? I mean, that atmosphere is the same, right? I wouldn't say like it was anything different from that tone. So if you enjoyed the tone and atmosphere from the Batman 2022, the Matt Reeves one, it literally carries on from there, which I think is great because you don't want it to be different because it's that universe.
No, exactly. I think it set the tone straight. The tone is still there. We get more daytime scenes. That's all. We get more daytime scenes. I think the Batman was more based at night. You had like one or two daytime scenes, I think, when he went to the funeral. But most of it is all shot in at night. So this is, criminal underworld works day and night. So we get to see everything like that and the day-to-day life of all of these characters. But the tone is still perfect, bro. This tone is so good. Just like Christopher Nolan gave us a dark, grittier. No, they gave us a what's the word? A grounded version of what Batman would be like in our reality, and what this does with the comic book imagery makes Gotham more grounded, more darker, more sinister. And I don't know, man. Just like you compare the two now, and you're like, oh my God, this is really good, really good. So now
Yeah.
the tone's great, bro. Tone's awesome.
Awesome, Markham. Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, let's get into like we'll talk more about the tone and connect that more with styling and stuff like that, and to the Batman in more details in a bit. But let's go into I think one of the best things about this, which was performance and then character building. Now, I said this, bro, like they done a great job in making me want more Penguin. Like I'm a fan of the Penguin. Like everyone's a fan of the Joker. I'm always been a fan of the Joker. I think Heath Ledger done a great job, and even Joaquin Phoenix, and even previously sort of stuff. But in regards to like just wanting more Joker on screen, Heath Ledger and the first Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix was just like I want more. You don't give much. I guess the last Joker gave some backstory, but Heath Ledger's Joker was so good. There was no backstory, but you just want more of him on screen.
Yeah,
Now,
that's right.
this show has done that to me with Penguin. I mean, Colin Farrell, I mean, like, I've been saying this before, man. Give this guy Oscars, Emmys, or whatever. I mean, talk about acting, bro. And again, I'm no actor. I don't know what the hell goes on in acting, right? But actors, right, generally play, their face, their body, right? But they mentally and play a different role, right?
Yeah.
And they put on accents, all that sort of stuff. We're talking about an individual that literally is a different human being from physically, mentally, accent, everything. And he was absolutely awesome. Like without telling people, nobody would know that's a different human being. That he don't even look like that. I mean, you got to give this guy all the awards, in my opinion, because it was
Mm.
so good of a performance. I think Colin Farrell just absolutely smashed it. He knew exactly what he was looking for in this character, and he was able to portray it in every way possible. I'm talking about from facial expression. I don't know how they did that, the prosthetics or whatever. His
Yeah, it
face
was really good.
expressions, yeah. I saw some of them making like they tried to make his face a bit like a penguin, like an angry penguin, angry bird or whatnot. But how they done it, he got everything on point from like I said, facial expressions, his eyes, his tone, his accent. I mean, just absolutely amazing. And I was just thinking about something. Now they've done this, like all this talk they used to do before, like trying to repraise some of the actors, legends who passed away and putting them back in movies like Bruce Lee or Stan Lee in the MCU and whatnot. Now there was just talking about CGI and they could do a great job with CGI these days. But bro, after what we just saw with there, if they really wanted to do that, it was of course with the family's permission and respect and all that sort of stuff. They can literally, bro, like a human being can think about, say, Bruce Lee. You get someone who's got Bruce Lee's body and build. They're an actor, so you get them to study Bruce Lee and his acting and his ways. And all you got to do is make that same prosthetics, and now you got Bruce Lee back on the screen. Again, you do that with all respect and all that sort of stuff. Maybe you don't want to
Yeah.
mess
Of
up that,
course, of
but
course, of course.
think about that, man. What they just did with that, you could do that. But What did you
I
think
mean,
of his
they've been doing it for years, bro. But I think like prosthetics and imagery, cinematography, lighting has just got 100 times better, bro. 100 times better. So you can imagine. I mean, nobody would have known that was Colin Farrell if we weren't told, if his name wasn't on the poster or anything like that. Nobody would have ever known that that is Colin Farrell. But what they, bro, like as I said, when it comes to that, uh, it's amazing to see, bro. It's amazing to see because you get lost into the character when you kind of forget the fact that holy shit, that's Colin Farrell. When somebody can act that well, that he makes you believe that he's that human being. It's diabolical, bro. It's so good, so good. Like his performance was great, and each episode, like, and I'm kind of glad they like released it every week because I was like, locked in, ready. Even if I missed a week, I know that the following week I'll catch up on it. But he's sorry guys, excuse me. His performance is great, bro. Absolutely great. He smashed it. As you said, well deserved Oscar, but it's a TV show, so I'm not sure Emmys,
Emmys?
Grammys,
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah,
yeah.
Emmys. Yeah, like he deserves it, 100%. And you're right. It is the best TV show I have seen this year. There isn't anything else. Yeah, there isn't anything else that I've seen this year that says, wow, oh shit, that was amazing. Even the cliffhangers they left us on at the end, and even when it went into that, you're like, oh, what's going on? Like, it's they done it very well. They balanced it out very well in those, what was it, 8 episodes
Mm.
for us to get into the world of Batman, to understand it a bit more. I'm glad what they did in the end. You
Yeah, I
know what I mean? The
mean,
way they did.
well, yeah, this is a
Yeah.
spoiler review. Like, this is a
Yeah.
spoiler review, and I should have said that in the beginning, but like, okay, Colin Farrell's performance was amazing, but the Penguin, like, they've done a great job, like I say, to introduce us to the Penguin, and the way they finished this show. And the way they built this character was like, I don't want to say he was lovable because he is a bad guy at the end of the day. Remember,
Mm.
he's a criminal underworld as well as a Batman villain, and he gets involved in politics. He's a criminal at the end of the day. But they built his character so well that you do want him to win. But then the last scene, when he kills his boy, Victor, because Victor was such a nice guy. Yeah, I love this character. We'll get into him in a second. But when he did that, you're like, oh yes, I remember. You are a criminal bastard. You are a bad guy. You're the bad guy. Like by the end of that show, like because remember, he was putting the Falcons and the Maronis against each other, right? They're bad guys against bad guys, almost like a vigilante type thing. But
Yeah, yeah.
you have to remember, he was still trying to run that underworld. But the way he put them together, and it was always against bad people. He didn't really affect any innocent people in this. I don't think he cared about them, but he really cared. But when he killed Victor at the end, you're like, I remember you are a bad guy. You're a villain. You fucking. I was heartbroken. It was almost like I was heartbroken. Victor was amazing in this show, and the way he did that. So I love the way they finished it. It's like, don't you forget, he is a villain, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love the
yeah,
way
yeah,
they
yeah.
finished it. That was
And I
brilliant.
think that kind of because we're getting a lot of shows where we're feeling for what the villain has gone through, and a lot of them are justifying that, what they're doing and how they're feeling and victimization and all the rest of it. But it's like at the end of the day, this guy is evil. Bro, my guy just let his brothers die, man.
Mm.
He's sitting there watching TV with his mum, like no issues. Like there are certain things and traits that you can't just say, oh, you know what? I feel for him. No, I don't feel for him. That's evil, man. That is pure evil. Yeah, it was horrible, bro. But it was a nice reminder as well to say, all right, cool. He's an amazing character. He's amazing at what he's done, manipulating bastard, uh, playing to people. What he did to the mum, Maroney's mum, sorry, wife and son. That was
Evil.
evil shit, bros.
Evil.
Uh, I like what they did here. Like, I could see what Matt Reeves was thinking when he was like, we're gonna do this Penguin TV show, we're gonna wrap it up from the movie. Uh, but he wants it to look like that's a graphic novel there, bro.
That's a graphic novel for
That's a
sure.
very, very nicely done graphic novel. The scenery is amazing. Gotham looks really good. But Penguin's a bastard, so remember that, guys. Don't think, shit, I feel for this guy and his limp and all the rest of it.
Mm.
Listen, man, evil comes in many forms and shapes, man. And even where he was thinking he was doing, like what he was doing for Victor, you look at him at the end of the day, selfish bastard.
That's it. I
End of
mean,
the day.
that's what I'm saying. Like you have that emotional thing where it's like, oh man, he's really looking after Victor and he's standing up for him and all this sort of stuff. And then throughout the show, really, yes, he was evil because of what he did. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
there
exactly.
is
Yeah.
when you're doing that to crime. Well, listen, when Punisher's hurting crime families and whatnot, you're kind of like, yeah, they deserve it. Right, but you have to remember, Punisher wouldn't hurt innocents. Well, with Penguin, when he's doing that throughout the show to crime families, you're kind of like, yeah, crime families, cool. It's no one innocent. But when he does do that to Victor, who I felt like I know he was involved in the crime or whatnot, but he did seem so innocent, and that's what just solidified it to me that oh yeah, he's an evil bastard, and he don't care about anyone, and he don't care about civilians, especially people, you know what I mean, especially civilians. But if he's gonna do
Yeah.
that to his a loved one, you could possibly say it's a loved one. Maybe he didn't feel anything this whole time. Maybe he did. I think he did. I just don't think he'll grieve over him. I think he's just gonna be like business. I don't want no emotional
Yeah, but
attachment.
he didn't want, yeah.
Especially what happened with his mother. And he learns from these sort of things because he wants to run things. So what happened with his mother and that was used against him, I think like he's just like, nah, I don't want no emotional attachments. So you need to go out. I need you out. Because if anyone kidnapped you, I'll be in the same sort of thing. I mean, it was just a reminder that don't forget he's a villain. I think they finished that well. I mean, let's talk about Victor, who's played by Renze Filez. Hopefully I said his name right. But I think he did a great job, man. I mean, when I mean great job, I mean, it's someone who's just believable, vulnerable. After
Mm,
his family was killed in what the Riddler did with the floods, the Penguin taking advantage of it. I mean, the Gotham City, the again, the politicians not being there for the people, again, always letting down the people, especially the poor people. What else do you do? And he ended up falling in this position of crime. Penguin kind of saw something in him, built him to a confident sort of person. Yes, he
yeah.
was a criminal and whatnot, but there was still some empathy in this kid, man. There was still some love there, that loyalty. He found family again in Penguin after he
Mm,
lost his family, which was even more heartbreaking why Penguin did that to him by killing him at the end, man. But he literally
yeah.
called him, you're like my family, after he lost his family. But he done such a great job to get in, for us to get to know this kid and take us through his journey,
Yeah.
especially showing the vulnerabilities as he's going through the series, man. What do you think of him? Would you have liked to see more of him, or is it
You know
happy
what?
that
I
he's
thought
done?
I was gonna, yeah, no, definitely thought I was gonna see more of a developed Victor when we see him next, if they ever did a season 2 or going into Batman 2. Uh, but I think that's the interesting thing about what they're doing is don't get attached to these characters. Don't get attached to these characters because in real life you're losing people. Yeah. So it's very interesting that they went with that. I think he was great, bro. Great actor. Played that vulnerable character very well. And then you could see his strength grow. So you go back to episode 1 all the way to episode 8, bro. Man, that guy, when he gave him that speech in that cupboard, I was like, yeah, man, Victor's growing, man. That's a good trait. Fuck, man. I was actually upset,
I
bros.
was upset. I was
I
upset.
was like, what? And I was like, you bastard penguin. But Victor, I think the character of Victor was great. I think what they did with him was really good, without a doubt. Very, very good.
Definitely. I was definitely screaming at the TV at them, like, nah,
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
do
yeah,
this,
yeah.
bro. Don't do this to him. And he just didn't let go. I felt so, yeah. It was
I
Victor's
felt bad,
one,
bro.
yeah, Victor, who is I had the emotional connection with out of everyone, right? And the
Yeah,
one I wanted to win. And when I mean win, maybe turn good. Like, there's a bit, I hope there's light in him and maybe he can turn good. He was the guy, right? With Penguin, I didn't feel that because he's a villain, but there was just, like I said, because he was fighting the criminal underworld, it was kind of like, you guys are in your own thing, doing your thing. But with Victor,
yeah, yeah.
it was a sense of hope, and that hope was just taken away by the Penguin.
Yeah,
Let
bros.
alone, him getting corrupted away. The Penguin just took that chance away from him, which
Yeah,
was tough.
that was upsetting. That was definitely upsetting.
The other performance by Christine Milotti, who played Sophia Falcon, I think that's the other performance that I wanted to touch on because she, excuse me, again,
Hmm.
was fantastic throughout the whole show as
Oh,
well.
bro.
I didn't expect that from her. I didn't even know, excuse me, man. I didn't know what to expect from her. I don't
Yeah.
know much about her from the comics or anything like that. We'll get into Easter eggs and all that sort of stuff later. But my God, did she really put up a freaking performance? I'm talking about like one, her life and what her father did to her was just horrible. What a father would do, or what someone in that underworld would do to their own kids, their own daughter,
Crazy, right?
protect themselves was horrible. And that messed her up, putting her in Arkham Asylum and all that sort of stuff was horrible to see. But the way it turned her, like, I actually didn't want her to at the end that she didn't die. And again, this is an interesting one about Oswald. I mean, again, he's so strategic about this whole show. He couldn't kill her
Yes,
off because
that's right.
he
Yeah,
needed to plot it all on her the end. He didn't want anything to come back to
that's
her. If he killed
that's right.
her, plot comes back to him. So the end of the day, it's like I kill Maroni, but I need someone big, her, to take all the heat. So I'm not gonna kill her. And then puts her straight back into it. But the way she portrayed that character, the way she portrayed the mental health stuff that she went through, that psychological
Yeah.
trauma that she went through, which ultimately led her to kill her family because she didn't trust none of them and then
Mm.
restart again because she was good. She was good. The reason why she went in is because she wasn't a reporter, right? The reporter was telling her stuff about sex slavery and stuff like that her family.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so she had good in her. Her father, her family turned her evil because of what
Mm.
they did to her, man. And that Arkham Asylum, of course, that's gonna turn anyone evil, let alone her. But she was good, man. What did you think of her performance?
Her performance was amazing, bro. Really good. Her eyes said a lot, you know what I mean? When she walked in a room, you saw how vulnerable she was at the beginning again, and then how she grew in those couple of episodes, bro, like massively, and kind of taking on the responsibility of power, trying to understand what you don't want to do with like what your father did and everybody else did to coming to that point. Now, I'm trying to remember what. Oh yeah, Falcone got shot in the Batman. That's right. Okay, that makes sense. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
she rose to power and she wanted to give it up and start fresh. You know, so she had that little bit of goodness to go to leave it and just say, "Fuck this, I don't want to do this no more." But as you said, the way Penguin had strategically put everything put together, I was like, I can't kill this girl. I need somebody to take the blame for me to see these people in power, you know what I mean? So yeah, horrible. But she was great. Horrible situation, but she was absolutely awesome, bro.
Yeah, I feel for her because everyone in her life, her own family, her own father betrayed her.
Yeah.
And then Penguin also betrayed her in this as well. And I think you see the evilness turn when that final kind of person betrayed her, Penguin. Like, do you know what I mean? Like she was already like looking for revenge, but when that happened, it was just like she just flipped completely. She was absolutely
Yeah, yeah.
amazing. Like so really psychotic look in her eye.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, definitely, without a doubt.
Look, there's many performances to kind of praise, but those two I wanted to give main shout. Everyone else was really awesome as well. Let's get into tone, style, and connection to the Batman. We spoke a little bit about this, but like we said, this does maintain the same gritty kind of noir and aesthetics of the Batman, which is great, right? You've seen the Batman, it flows straight into this show, which is perfect. I do think it was a lot more violent and there's a lot more swearing and stuff like that in it because you're in the
Yeah,
criminal
yeah.
underworld. Like Batman don't really swear much. Yes, he's violent, but he doesn't kill and whatnot. So this you're getting that same grittiness from Batman, but you're getting it more because you are dealing with bad people, the villains, the Penguin, the criminal underworld. So it ups up the violence and the swearing and all that sort of stuff.
Hmm.
Um, how do you think it like makes itself? Do you think it makes itself like different, or do you think it's like really connected with the Batman Reeves universe? Do you think there's a separation? I mean, I think, like I said, the swearing and the violence is a bit of a separation, but in regards to like the tone and the visuals and everything, do you think there was anything else that separates it from the Reeves Batman universe?
No, you're right. I think it's the daytime shots and the swearing because, you know, Batman works during the evenings, sometimes during the day, but you don't,
That's why he
that's
didn't show
that's
up, right? Until
yeah, that's why it didn't show up. But it didn't separate. I don't think it. I don't think that's a negative. I think that's great with what they did. Uh, I think you're right. The only thing, the tone that does kind of make it change is the swearing and the language,
The violence
the
as well, right?
violence.
Because you
Like
see
compared
setting people
to
on
that,
fire, man.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So compared to what we saw in the Batman, which I thought was fairly, you know, touch violent, with the horrendous car chases and beat 'em ups and the rest of it, the fighting, the way he punched up that guy's head, like you could already tell that is a kind of like to a point where you're like, okay, this is a different tone. But then the Penguin, burning people, shooting, gas chambers, all sorts of business. It's crazy, bro. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, it does sets the tone slightly a bit more unique, I would say. It's not a negative, it's a positive, I would say. It's a
Mm-hmm.
unique way to because you're working with villains here. It's not these are
Yeah,
the bad guys. These are the corrupt guys. You know, so we're seeing that world. We got to see that world, which is interesting because usually we don't. All we know is that this is the good guy gonna fight the bad guy. We don't really see the background on what the villain is. Villains, we get to see the background operation, what the villains get up to, and the comic books have always done that for years. But now we're getting to see that much more often with TV shows and other types of movies as well that show us the background about what these villains are up to.
definitely. I mean, because look, we've spoken about certain movies and whatnot, where in the first scene you already identify who the villain is. They do something so horrific. You're like, get that guy, he deserves to die, he's a villain. Whereas, I mean, in the Penguin, really, like you don't, especially from coming from the Matt Reeves Batman. Yes, he's the Penguin. We all know him as a villain. He's working with the mob. Okay, they're bad guys. But to really show that in this show, to tell everyone, yeah, this is why he's bad. Like he's looking to
Mm.
set people on fire, shoot people in the head, kill whoever he needs to kill people he's close to. That's why you have to remember why he is a bad guy. Not just because we say he's a bad guy. Here's his actions to prove it. Do you know what I mean? In a TV
Yeah,
show.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, the
Exactly, exactly.
cinematography and the design and the music was great. I used to love watching the music at the end because they used to finish off with great tunes at the end of each
Yeah,
episode.
yeah, yeah. That's
But the
right.
cinematography and everything, I think, yeah, again, they captured Gotham's dark and corrupt essence with everything from performances,
100%.
from the city,
100%.
from the alleyway, from the alleyways, from the destruction, the ghetto-ness of Gotham. Done a great job of kind of showing that. I mean, key themes and story arcs, which we kind of touched on a little bit, but some of the key themes of this show obviously was obviously around not just about Penguin, which it definitely was, but we're talking about power, we're talking about corruption, we're talking about
Mm.
loyalty in Gotham's criminal underworld, and then Oswald's ambition and moral compass, and I guess in a
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
because you see that a little bit. That otherwise, why would he get so close with Victor? There was something he knew that he had to build an army, and he saw something in Victor from the very beginning to be like, I'm gonna help this kid. And as he got to know Victor, there was even put up play when Victor opened up to him about his family, him showing respect to Victor's father and stuff like that, him sticking up for Victor when he's stuttering and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. That's
but
right.
it does show this criminal underworld about, like I say, the power, the corruption in that. We've seen it in gangster movies, of course. Power, corruption. It's all about the corruption with the politicians and everything. But loyalty is something that he doesn't have, man. But
Mm.
Penguin does not have maybe with his
No
mother,
loyalty,
or
bro.
maybe only
Yeah.
his mother, but that's it. No one else, not even his brothers, not even anyone. And that just goes to show like how much of a, like I say, of a villain that he will be. But my thing is, right, and this will not happen. I don't think they'll ever show this, but it's like Sonny from Bronx Tales, right? He's got
Yeah.
loyalty to his men just enough, so they stay loyal to him. Too much, they'll get comfortable. Too little, they'll turn against him. And I think Penguin, behind closed doors, goes too much. In on the ground, hey guys, I'm gonna share everything with you. You guys deserve everything, like how he
Yeah,
got
yeah,
Real
yeah, yeah,
Garmin.
yeah, yeah.
But behind doors, he has no loyalty, and he cannot afford to show that to anyone. Because if they
No,
saw
no,
what he did
exactly.
to
Yeah.
Victor, they'll turn against it. But he's found that balance of when he can do that or not. But yeah, what did you think of like in regards to like story arc and themes about
No, I mean
Oswald?
it's very good, and exactly what you said there. Like I feel like I like the fact that it looked like he cared. it looked like he wanted to do good for the local community. He wanted to be like Sonny, like from
Mm.
Bronx Tale. Exactly that. When he said that story, I was like, he wants to be respected. He wants to be remembered. That was like Sonny. That's all I could think of, Bronx Tale. He wanted to be like Sonny. But really and truly, there's a darker background to the why he wants that type of control, and it's that because he still didn't get his full attention from his mother, which
Mm.
is gone into all of this now because he feels like he needs to prove a point. So he's not proving a point to anybody else. His main thing was there was a reason why I killed my brothers is that I can prove to my mum that I can look after her and give her everything she wants. That was
Mm.
that's his main goal. And it's still his main goal. So I kind of like that anchor that his mum is playing a big part in his life still, but she's like, "You're a fucking monster. I know what you did." But he feels like whatever he does now as the Penguin is going to rectify what he did as a child. But he doesn't understand the concept of how far he's gone down the road of you're a villain, bro. You fucked up. So interesting, very interesting,
And
and
I think
it's a good way of making us feel for the character, but still fit say you're a bastard, bro.
definitely. I mean, I feel like with the Penguin, especially in this Batman universe, he's one of the best characters to give a story where it does show the rise of power that he has over Gotham. Because you remember the other characters, like using the Joker and even the Riddler, they're psychopaths, man. They're there to cause
Yeah, yeah,
destruction and
yeah.
they have different agendas and whatnot. But Oswald, like Penguin runs the city from a criminal underworld
Mm.
perspective, and even in politics. You gotta show how I not gotta show, but it's great that they chose that story to show because you gotta see how the hell does he become the Penguin? How the hell does he run the
Yeah,
underground?
yeah,
There's
exactly
something
that.
more to it, right? He's not just a Joker where he's like, I cause chaos, I don't give a fuck about anything else. There's more to him, and as you mentioned, like the relationship he had with his mother, and the upbringing and whatnot was what really kind of pushed him to that I could look after you, which kind of pushed him to I can look after the city. I can take over the city and look after my
Yeah,
mother.
yeah,
But
exactly
I think
that.
he's a perfect character to show that because you want to see, listen, man, if you see the Batman 2, for example, and then all of a sudden Penguin is the mayor or whatever, you're gonna be like, well, how? Like that's a big position. How the hell did the Penguin become that? For them to show this and show how strategic
Yeah.
and like diabolical this dude is, it's perfect. And when you're talking about setups for the larger event in Gotham or potential Batman ties, it's
Mm.
perfect because when you come to Batman, the second one, Penguin is up there now. He's not just how did he get up there? It's like, okay, we know how he grew in the criminal underworld or whatnot. He's
Mm.
still, you know what I mean? Like we could see that he's grown up in that world. Like I said, if anyone needs a story, it's going to be that one. And when we see him in the next Batman's and whatnot, because he's confirmed to be in it, it's going to
Hmm.
be perfect to see. Like we know how he grew in the
Exactly,
ranks and whatnot,
exactly.
rather than he's just there now because he's the Penguin. So it just makes perfect sense because you can get any other villain and be like, yeah, here's a villain with an agenda, throw him in there. Penguin's got more than just an agenda of chaos. His agenda is I
Mm.
want to take over. This is my city, and I want to take over. And you got to show how
Exactly.
he gets there. Moving on to Easter eggs. Was there sorry before I move on? Was there anything else about the story? Anything that you wanted to kind of touch on, or that was basically it?
No, listen, I like what they did there was, the back and forth, the memories. I absolutely love that because you give people snippets of the origin and what they went through, memories, the past, and I love that, bro, because storytelling is, you could have, the kind of mundane storytelling where you go right from the beginning, then you have your middle, then you have your end, where this one goes back and forth, and I like that. Even some episodes they left you on a cliffhanger, and you're like, oh shit, what's going on? But they gave you a bit of what happened previously, like they gave you a memory. Uh, I like storytelling like that because sometimes you feel like, oh shit, it could get a bit stale with the what's happening next. And now we've come to a point where we don't even need filler episodes no more, bro. Just give
Mm,
us the whole shit straight away, bro. It's like you don't need to do 25 episodes. Like I'm a bit scared about like things like that now because we know what we got. We got filler episodes. We don't
mm,
need that, bro. Really and truly, 8 of those episodes in 24 were like the main things. The other ones in between my guy's just running for an hour. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense that they did the story like that. So that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think you make a good point as well. Like sometimes I have to be honest, like when they do these stories and then one episode, like they do it, they leave you on a cliffhanger, and then the next episode is like a flashback story. Now,
Mm,
sometimes I'm like, man, that was a useless filler episode of a flashback story.
mm,
But however, I think this show done such great character building that when you've done a flashback, you're like, oh, I'm actually interested. I'm interested to see
mm,
how you turned out the way you did. And I think that's what's great about it. Rather than just giving a flashback story for the sake of it and a filler episode, and it
mm,
doesn't really make an impact, this show was so great to build in the characters where like I'm genuinely interested in your flashback story. So
mm.
I agree. I thought that was awesome. All right, let's move on to Easter eggs and Batman sort of references and whatnot. So I got a whole bunch of them. So I'm just gonna read out and shout outs to everyone on the internet, like Screen Rant and Comic Book, all of them. These lot
Mm.
found them, so I give credit to all of them guys. What's the other one, man? There's another good one. Anyway, they're all good. All shout outs to you lot. But here's a couple Easter eggs I got, man. So Oswald Cobblepot's rise. So it shows the show premise, it the mirrors of Penguin's origin in the comics, like Batman: The Long Halloween and Batman Dark Victory, where he grows from
Hmm.
mid-level gangster to a key player in Gotham's criminal underworld. The Penguin's classic attire. So I don't know if you noticed in the last episodes, by the final, Oswald Copperpot
Mm,
embraces his iconic tuxedo top hat and
hmm.
umbrella, symbolizing his transformation into the Penguin as seen in the comics. The umbrella weapon. So the iconic umbrella, often weaponized in the comics, makes a subtle debut here.
So debut, yeah.
Yeah. By the end of the season, its evolution as a symbol of power hints its eventual comic book functionality. So maybe he'll turn that into a weapon. But this is more real. I don't know if he's going to use, he's going to use a gun rather than his umbrella. But it was in there anyway. Maybe he will change it.
Yeah. It was good. It was
The,
good.
the Falcone family connection. So Sophia Falcone presents a direct reference to the Long Halloween and its sequels in these comics. So Sophia plays a central role in Gotham's mob wars, displaying the same cunning and ruthlessness as shown as in the show.
Mm,
Sophia's Falcone's downfall. So her story arc mirrors classic crime family tales from DC Comics, including her strategic but ultimate flaw attempts to control Gotham. Selena Kyle's letter to Falcone, to Sophia Falcone. So at the end, the last bit of the show, so Sophia receives a letter from her half sister, Selena Kyle, who is Catwoman, who was in the Batman. This connection alludes to their shared father, who's Carmine
mm.
Falcone, hinting at a potential alliance of or rivalry, a theme explored in the DC comics. Shared lineage from Carmine Falcone in the comic book storylines, particularly explored in Batman: The Long Halloween. Catwoman's theme.
No,
Catwoman.
man, Michael Giacchino.
Fucking hell, I was way off. Fucking hell, I was way off. Catwoman's theme plays as Sophia reads Selena's letter. For,
Yes.
yeah, so further trying to set up the series, Batman teasing Catwoman's potential involvement in the future of Gotham stories. Maroni crime family reference to Salvatore Marone as Gotham's most powerful mob boss, connect directly to the comic arcs like the Batman Year One, where Maroni is pivotal in Gotham's organized crime scenes. Francis Copperpot, that's his mother, right? Penguin's
Hmm.
complicated relation with his mother. Francis echoes the, hopefully I'm saying her name right, man. Echoes the
Is it Francis.
Francis, yeah, echoes
Well,
the
Yeah.
manipulative family dynamics often explored in the comics. And then the water symbolism, this was an interesting one. So the reoccurring water imagery parallels theme from the Batman comics like Batman Hush, where Gotham's geography and its rivers often symbolize renewal or chaos. Interesting sort of theme. The Iceberg Lounge, Penguin's signature nightclub, it just featured predominantly in inclusive ties with the roles in many comics, including Batman Earth One, where it serves as his base of operations.
Mm,
Rex Calabrese mentioned, Calabrese, hopefully I'm saying that right, a crime boss from the DC Comics is named as one of Penguin's inspirations. So that's the backstory. that he went back on,
Okay.
right? It's his deep cut of the Gotham lore, as Rex is often considered one of the city's first organized crime figures. Arkham Asylum, a reference to Arkham Asylum's tied to the series and the broader Gotham lore, as Arkham frequently serves as the backdrop for Penguin's alliance and manipulatives in various storylines. Arkham's really big in Batman, as we all know. The corrupt Gotham politics. So Penguin's alliance with Counterman Haiti reflects the comic book's knack and exploiting Gotham's corrupt political system to strengthen his power base. Perfect for Penguin to exploit that. He's the one that showed us that, right? Mayor Hardy again, Councilman Hardy, a corrupt Gotham politician, becomes mayor in the show, echoing his comic portrayal as power-hungry figure who frequently clashes with Batman.
Yep.
Bella Real Armsling. So Mayor-elect Bella Real appears in her arm sling, excuse me, which nods to the injuries that she got from the Batman. So she showed up in episode 1. The details ensures continuity between the show and the events of the movie, highlighting the ongoing impact of Gotham's political struggles. Reference to Gotham's past, historical nods to Gotham's criminal evolution are tied to arcs like Gotham Central and Batman Year One, and Batman Central and Batman Year One, enriching in lore and authenticity.
Okay.
The Goodwin International Airport. Gotham's airport is named after Archer Goodwin, a key comic editor for Batman stories like The Long Halloween. This subtle homage ties to series to its comic roots. The bat signal tease was shown finally at the whole season. We were like, where's Batman? Where's Batman? It's maybe shot in the daytime, so he doesn't work in the daytime, but it's like, where is he, right? Even at nighttime, where is he? At the end, the final episode features the bat signal, a staple from the comic symbolizing Batman's looming presence over Gotham and the potential future clash. There is one more that I've been seeing online. There has been rumors, or people have seen Dr. Julian Rush, they predicting that he is Scarecrow. I think it's episode 4 or 5. People saying in the background they saw Scarecrow's mask and hand. So there's all a lot of rumors going around. It could be Dr. Julian Rush who plays.
Okay.
That's the Scarecrow. So that was all the Easter eggs that I was able to find online. Shout outs to all of you guys who find that stuff online. You guys are amazing at finding those and observing those. So let's move on. Let's move on to the strengths of the show. We spoke a lot about this, I think, already, but strong performances, especially Colin Farrell. We spoke about compelling writing and character development, Gotham's immersive world building and atmosphere, discussed how it expands on Matt Reeves' verse in a meaningful way. So what do you think in regards to the strengths? Like, we spoke about the performance, we spoke about the looks and feels. Like, any other strengths you wanted to highlight that this show gave you?
No, I think the writing was on point. Like, you're writing there's several characters in this program. I know there's a central amount of characters to write for, but each person has to dig deep as an actor to pull out those characters as well. So I think the writing was on point, and I think Matt Reeves really what's the word? Like, managed it well. Made sure he overlooked that. I don't want it to diminish the movie in any way. I want it to still have that cohesive feel throughout it all. And we got that. There's not an episode I can say, what the hell? Why did that happen? Or how did it do? Like, why doesn't it match up? They kept the same theme all the way through, so it was blessed. Very good. I've got no negatives, really and truly. It's not like there's not points. Like, I didn't have my phone on watching it. As soon as your concentration dips, the first thing that comes into your hand, which is in the vicinity, is your mobile phone. So you've got to, if you're not engaged in that sort of sense where you're looking at the TV and you're like, oh shit, you're not engrossed in what you're seeing, then, they've lost our attention. But honestly, 100%. As I said, best TV show, you said it as well, the best TV show we got this year. Visually stunning, writing is stunning, music is great, soundtrack is great, dialogue is amazing. So listen, 100% fully. I've got nothing else to say. Like I'm looking to watch it again.
Mm,
I'll put it together. That's like a 8 hour movie, man. I'm happy to watch that. You know what I mean? You've just
yeah.
given me more of Gotham City, more of what I want. So no, very good, very good.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, regards to strengths, I agree with you, man. I think like there was no pacing issues. I was fully in from the first minute all the way to the end with every single episode. There was a way for them to keep everyone engaged. The character building, I think because it's a TV program, you can spend time on like evenly distributing a good amount of time character building for specific characters. I don't think I honestly feel like if it was a movie, we've always spoken about wasted characters,
Yeah,
unnecessary character building, but this one was perfect because it definitely led to the by the end of the show, you realize like why certain characters got certain builds and why they were built in
yeah,
certain
yeah,
ways and whatnot, which was absolutely awesome. So I listen, man, I agree. Performances, visuals, dialogue, as you said, was really good. Just to see Penguin. I mean, look, I like that gangster world. I like those gangster movies, Sopranos, Goodfellas, all that sort of stuff. So this, like I said, it just felt great. Like I like that sort of show anyway, so I'm a target audience from that. But then it's a Batman comic book universe as well. So for me, it was just a perfect merge, man. They just done it so well. And the fact that these shows, especially for Batman, don't have to be, they don't mind if they're R-rated a little bit with violence or swearing.
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like there's a
Exactly.
free flow of expression that you can give, especially for villains, For Batman, as we spoke about, yeah, cool. He don't have to show him, punching a guy's face in and blood spattering everywhere. You can show the punching, but you don't have to show everything. But when it comes to the
Yeah,
villain world, I think it's a great expression. And I think the show just it shined in that, right? And it didn't overdo it. So
yeah.
that I thought that was awesome. I mean, look, moving on to weaknesses, which I don't think there is. I mean, look, I'm sure people can nitpick and stuff like that. For me, I personally didn't find any weaknesses. I don't think there was any pacing issues for me. I don't think
No.
I don't think any characters were underdeveloped, in my opinion. I don't think
Hmm.
it relies. Okay, here's a question for you for weaknesses, if there is one. Do you think it heavily relies on the Batman, or do you think it's accessible for newcomers?
I think it's accessible for newcomers. I think it's a great entry for somebody who watches that and be like, oh, so because now they can go back and watch the Batman and say that's the prequel. So I don't think
Mm.
there's no issues there. There's no issues there. I think that's fine. People can jump in and watch it as a good TV show and be like, it'll remind them of The Wire. It will remind them of, Sopranos. But which I still don't I kind of agree with Matt Reeves. There's similarities that you see in there, but Sopranos is a different type of TV show.
Definitely. No, I agree.
Yeah,
See that
yeah,
that possible weakness turned into a strength because it's true. You can just go in and watch this, and if you wanted to watch a prequel, you just go back to Batman and watch it. And there's like the only thing you would have to know when they explain it in the first episode is what happens at the end of Batman, that destruction, and they do a great
yeah,
job in the very beginning just to kind of briefly touch on that. And now we're in with the Penguin, like you know what I mean. That's all you need to
yeah.
know. So yeah, I agree. I can't find any weaknesses. Final thoughts and recommendations and call to actions, right? So let's say summary of the overall impression. What's your summary of the overall impression? The Penguin, is he worthy additional to the Batman universe, which I think you can say he is. Who is it for? You think he's fan of the Batman crime dramas, like
Mm.
other, just comic book lovers or just other dramas in general, people who like to watch TV in general, and then your rating and kind of like closing thoughts of this whole show.
So yeah, no, listen, man. Penguin's like he's the Don, man. He's from the beginning. You know what I mean? He's been from the Batman universe all the way from uh 50s, 60s in the comic books. So listen, he's part of that rogues gallery of Batman. So the he's part of it. There's no way of saying, oh, we don't need this. He's part of it. Overall, great
Well,
show.
I mean
Huh?
this Penguin. Like, look. When I mean that question, I mean like, look, Joker whacking Phoenix. After the first one, you're like, I want to see him in a Batman, right? The second one, you're like, I don't think I want to see that Joker in the Batman universe. Do you know what I'm trying to say, right? So
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
Penguin specifically, do you see that he's worthy of not just the Batman Matt Reeves universe, but I'm talking about Batman in general. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely, without a doubt, bro. Definitely. He's got to be there. He's got to be there. 100% he has to be there.
This Penguin, this
Uh
Colin Farrell
this
Penguin,
penguin
yeah.
is this Colin Farrell penguin is You know, we've only seen you had Burgess in 68, 69 one. You have Danny DeVito, and now you've got Colin Farrell.
All three done amazing, right? If you think about
Yeah,
it, all
exactly,
three
bro.
done
Everybody
amazing.
brought their A game to that character. So, very good. Very, he has to be. Overall, listen, it's a must watch. I'm not gonna play it down or anything like that. Whether you're a fan or not, this is a great TV show. It's a cinematic TV show as well. So definitely that, and I'm looking forward to more. Definitely looking forward to more.
Definitely. I mean, I agree. Everything that you said, I agree. And I just think like if you're not into the Batman, if you're not into comic book world, if you're just into dramas, if you're into crime dramas, if you're into, like I say, The Sopranos or Ozark or any of those shows or Wire, whatever. Like you can literally get into this and watch this and appreciate this.
Mm.
If you love those Netflix shows or whatever, if you're just into those, honestly, you don't even have to be a Batman fan at all. You can go in and enjoy this. And even that word, the Penguin, like, you know, if you're thinking like, what the hell is this? Like some villain that looks like no, like none of that can affects how good the show is. Like anyone can go in and watch it. Even my missus enjoyed it because of just how good and captivating it is. So I agree.
Yeah, yeah.
Overall, for me, like I said, best show of 2024. And we're at the end of the year. I don't think anything will be it, to be honest with you. So
No,
I'm
I
giving
don't
this
think
a
nothing's gonna top that.
solid 9, man. Honestly, a solid 9 out. I mean, IMDb scores for each episode was off the chain. For me, honestly, like a solid 9. I think a 10 would have been like a little Batman cameo would have been like 10, done it. Maybe for me a little bit. I'm just like, just because he weren't there throughout the
No,
whole
you know
season.
what? I agree with that. I'll give that a solid 9 as well, bro. Definitely. But yeah, if Batman kind of popped in and like bust some people's heads up for a moment, then yeah, I would have said give it a 10. But other than that, listen, you know what? It's a 10. It is a 10, bro. It's a 10 out of 10 show. It was brilliant. Every episode was great. We'll leave it as that, but a solid 9 is good. Solid 9 is good.
Awesome. Well, look, guys, to the fans, you guys who watch it, appreciate you watching this and everything. What's your thoughts? What did you think of
Yeah.
Colin Farrell's performance? What do you think of this Penguin? Where would you want to see more of him? Even though we are going to get more, where would you like to see more of him? Do you think any other Gotham villain deserves spin-offs? Maybe we got to get. I don't know. That's a hard question because we got certain spin-offs and whatnot, but. Maybe you want to see more of a certain villain that you feel like they should introduce, give us spin-offs, and then put him in Matt Reeves' universe or whatnot. Guys, comment, tell us what you think. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And yeah, that was our review for the Penguin. I mean, great show. If you haven't seen it, you need to. It's absolutely amazing. Best show of the year by far. Performances, everything. Can't wait to see more of the Penguin. He's going to be awesome. There's going to be so much more love for him, but also a bit of
Mm,
hate for him as well. It's like, you bastard, you killed Victor. In when we see him again, but I can't wait to see his interactions more with the Batman because he's going to be a very confident bastard. Even though he already is, he's going to be way more confident in the new ones. But yeah, that was our
definitely.
review,
All
guys.
right.
Hope you guys liked and everything. Kibla, take us out, man.
All right, guys, as always, massive thank you for the support on the channel. Recently, we've had a massive influx, which is absolutely amazing. But there's still 70% of you that are not subscribed to the channel. So make sure you click on that subscribe button. Make sure you click like, dislike, comment. Let us know what your thoughts are. Also, make sure you follow us on our social media journeys, guys, on X, Blue Sky now, which is a new one, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And make sure if you are on the commute, you can listen to the podcast on the Spotify and Apple Podcast. And yeah, thank you as always, guys. Have a wonderful time. And remember, comment away. Let us know your thoughts. What did you guys think? All right, one love. Peace.
Peace.